Hey, it's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com, and have I got an offer for you? So I didn't get around to doing anything in March to celebrate my photo reading instructor anniversary. It's my 20-year anniversary this year. So March 2002, jumped on a plane with just a couple of days notice, flew out to Minneapolis to train with, well, he's now Dr. Paul Sheely, to become a photo reading instructor, but just did not get around to doing anything to celebrate that. I normally do something every time an anniversary rolls around, and I think 20 years is pretty special. So what I have decided to do, now this is an interesting one. I was just on a webinar with someone else talking about, creating SOPs, standard operating procedures. And he did something really interesting on the webinar. He was like, okay, there's an event that I'm putting together. It's new. We're just building the back end out. But for those of you who are on the webinar, if you do want to join us, here's a special offer link. But please be aware that when you click it, it's only available for 15 minutes. We're like, what? And a few people clicked it, and he because he'd been playing around with it, he'd actually set it for 3 minutes. So they clicked on it, had a look, we go, oh, that's interesting. Then it expired, and then they couldn't click it again because it expired. And I just thought, wow, that's really interesting. But what he was saying with regards to that, he said, I only want people to attend the masterclass who are serious about it. They know they want to attend, they see it's a no-brainer, and bang, they're going to book. So that was his premise, and I thought, well, that's kind of fun actually. So I think I'm going to do that. So I have done that with the photo reading offer. Now, this is an offer for those of you who want to join us globally online live, because I'm running a hybrid version of the photo reading workshop. What does that mean? Let me show you what that means. Right, there we go. So what it means is I'm going to be running the photo reading workshop in person, and simultaneously, by the wonders of technology, I'm also going to be running it as a live video webinar. So those of you in the room, of course, experience what's going on in the room. Those of you who are joining us in video webinar will be in the vibe of the classroom. You just won't be there in person. But what I'll be doing is teaching the class and also doing some online coaching with those of you who are online, so you can put your questions in. And when I stop to do a Q&A with the class, you are part of the class. So I'll answer your questions. We'll be doing the online coaching, and you'll be hearing the coaching that I'm doing with the people in the room as well. And so I thought I would do an offer on the hybrid online version. So not the in-person, because I've already got people to book the in-person, so it wouldn't be fair of me to do an offer when they've booked nice and early. So this is for the online hybrid version. You're going to save nearly £300 if you do want to join us. What I will do is I'll add a copy of the link, the booking link, in the description of this video. I'll add it to the comments first of all, but later on I'll add it to the description. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, it will be down in the description. Click on that link when you know you're ready, and then the countdown timer begins. So let me show you the page that you are going to. Let's see. Da, da, da. Right, here we go. Gosh, there's a lot in here. Oh, actually, yes. Oh, yeah, there are a few things I want to share. I'm going to answer some of the questions I often have about photo reading as well, because I get a lot of questions about what age is it suitable for. Is it just for students? No, in a nutshell, I've worked with clients age 7 to 70 plus. So it's not just for students. I have entrepreneurs, I have doctors, I have surgeons, I've worked with a team of rocket scientists, I've worked with accountants, marketing executives, crystal healers, you name it. I've had everything, I think, on the workshop. So it's not just for students, it's not just for those of you taking exams. It's also good for executives if you're feeling overwhelmed, for those of you who want to be more in a sense of flow. So many things you could do. Right, so let me I'll show you this, and then I've got a few other things I'm going to share with you as well. So here we go. So this is the page you're going to be looking for when I put the link into the comments in the chat. The countdown timer is on, so once you have clicked on the link, the countdown timer starts ticking down. So I would say don't go onto the page if you know you want to still be thinking about it and you haven't got much longer. It's a month from today. It's happening in June of this year if you're watching this in real time. I don't have any plans to run another one this year, so this will be your opportunity. And because this is the online version of the hybrid, it means you can join us from anywhere in the world. The only thing you really need to think about is the time zone, because I'll be running it in UK time. We start at 3:30 p.m. on the Friday, then we do 9:30 to 6:30 on the Saturday and Sunday. One of the questions I've had is, will it be recorded? Yes, I always record my webinars, so it will be recorded, so you can get the access to the replay recording. One of the questions I've had is, how long do you have the recording for? If you're purchasing now, might change my mind later, but for those of you who purchase now, you will have a lifetime access. As I kind of think about how I move forward, I might change that. But if you've got lifetime access, it means you'll have lifetime access forever. I won't be changing that. It might just be further down the line. So click the link. You're going to have 30 minutes to make up your mind if you want to save a couple of £100. And I have not done this price before, ever. No, that's not true. When I first launched the PhotoReading online video webinar about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I did do it at a lesser price for people on my e-newsletter list, but I've only offered that price once, never offered it again, because I said that I wouldn't. It's not fair. So, but this is the lowest price I've had since the launch back in 2017, whatever it was. So once I finish this webinar, I will put the link in. Let me answer some of the other questions that I often have in terms of the photo reading. Now, in terms of effectiveness online, this is from someone who attended my the first time I ran that online video webinar. They were online for 21 hours. That's a long time. A long time. Nope. And as I said it's going to go fast, it's going to go quick, you're going to feel like we're all there in the room together. That's exactly what happened. So someone said it was fun, energizing, mind expansive, and effective. That was really fantastic. What have we got here? Inspiring, creative, intensive, engaging, brilliant. Again, this was someone who was online. Some of the people who took that webinar when I first ran it as a live event, I've never met them, and they still had an incredible experience of being in the room. So that gives you a little bit of a flavor of what to expect. Now, with regards to age, this was from one of my 11-year-old attendees. So she said, Marilyn, you helped me so much being a better person, feeling better about myself. So I'm always saying to parents that this is a really fantastic gift that you can give to your children. If you're a grandparent, give to your grandchildren. And it is something that absolutely sets them up for the rest of their life. And I think that's just amazing. So that's from that perspective in terms of being just starting out on the journey through this thing that we call life. Actually, I've got another interesting one here. Let me see if I can find it for you. Because this was someone, I'm going to say a woman of a certain age, and she came away saying that she actually felt younger, as though she had had a new kind of zest for life. So I'll see if I can find that one for you. Now, in terms of professions, as I said earlier on, if you were kind of watching, that I've had people from a number of different professions. So this is actually one of my clients, Naomi Tamayama. Some of you may know her. She's a single mum and an entrepreneur. This was something that she posted the words, I put it into a picture, but this was something she posted after attending the photo, several months after attending the workshop. It was her Facebook post, and I went, oh my God, that's amazing. Can I share that as a quote? She's like, yeah, sure. So she had a day where she said, I've just spent less than an hour reading 8 books on a topic and have compiled a piece of work from this. 8 books in less than 1 hour. Imagine having that skill. If you're someone who has to research, if you're someone that wants to stay informed about your industry, if you're someone that wants to be moving towards the top of your game, it's amazing for that. So that's after the workshop in terms of results that you can get. I had a question, am I going to be doing the Huna, H-U-N-A? The answer to that is yes, absolutely. So this is from someone, some of you might know Suki Wahiwala. This is from his lovely wife, Parvinder. So she said, talk about grabbing the bull by the horns. When you did the Huna healing on me, oh my God, I couldn't believe how accurate you were, your diagnosis, and how accurate your diagnosis was. You didn't tell me you're a doctor, as well as everything else. So we do the Huna belief change session on the first segment on the Friday. So again, I've done that online. Some of you who follow me, you might have listened to some of the Huna recordings. I've got those as MP3 recordings. I've got those as video recordings. I started doing them back in 2005, and I've had people listen to those old recordings and still have the same impact as the people who were there live. So it's one that beautifully travels through the airwaves, so you get to experience that in real time. And the nice thing about being there live on the hybrid version is that you get to put your input into what we do on the session. So in the same way I'll be saying to everyone in the room, what do you want me to focus on? What do you want to put into the Huna mix? I usually do, and I'll probably do the same this time. I usually do a mix of Access Consciousness and Huna. So we'll run the access statements to clear the beliefs that might get in the way of your photo reading, and then we'll do the Huna energy clearing. And I'll be asking all of you in the room, whether you're there in person or virtually live. And if you can't make that segment, then just send it to me beforehand, so that when you're watching it, I've covered the things that you want to experience. So that's all going to be in there as well. Let's see, what else? This is just a funny one, an aside. This is I met someone actually, that's a good point, I'll tell you about that also. When I was at this particular event, and some of you might have been there to witness the thing that happened with Greg Braden in terms of the photo reading, and I call it that photo reading in action moment. But when I was at this event, the TCCHE, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution, someone had flown in from Japan, was absolutely knackered because he just come straight off the plane into the room. And if you've been to the event, you know it's a long event and it's intense. And so I'd said to him as we were going home for the evening, I said, would you like just a few minutes of Huna? And he said, what is that? I said, oh, it's just an energy boost. And he went, oh yeah, go for it then. So he's the one who said, Huna is better than Red Bull. Huna is better than Starbucks. And that's one of the reasons why people feel so energized throughout the workshop, whether they're in person or they're attending online. So I'll share about the Greg Braden story with you when you attend as well, because that is kind of mind-blowing. Let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have that I wanted to share with you? Yes, I think this is the one I'm looking for. Yes, it is. So people often ask about detail. Is it good for detail? Or is it just an overview that you get? And I would say, look, that's going to depend on your activation session. This testimonial and feedback and quote here is from a barrister, so a lawyer for those of you in United States, but he's a head of chambers and barrister. And this is what he said in terms of his photo reading experience. He attended the workshop. He also did my 6-month photo reading mastermind group classes. And this is what he said. He said, in court, preparation is key. Now, when I photo read, the key words and information all come up in front of me. I felt like I didn't need to go back and look at it. The whole book was in my head. I haven't needed to pick it up again. It's like being in a computer. You do a search and it's all there. Now, I don't often have people who need the level of detail that you would need if you were a barrister or a lawyer. But if you are in that particular field, then that is the answer to your question. Kind of interesting also, this was probably, I think it was probably coming out of the first phase of lockdown and coming into early 2021. But I spoke at something called the Lawyer Summit out in the United States. Of course, it was all online. And if those of you who follow me on Facebook, you might remember me sharing the post saying, I'm going in cold as I've never met any of these lawyers. They don't know who I am. I don't know who they are. For the most part, even though I delivered it live, they were going to be watching it as a recording. And I know that photo reading potentially is a little bit out there. When I'm talking about photo reading at 25,000 words per minute, when the average person reads about 200 to 300 words a minute, that's quite a big differential. When I'm talking about getting through whole books from start to finish in 5 minutes, and then learning strategies where you can remember and recall what you've read. I know that's a stretch just talking to people in regular jobs who don't need to read that much, never mind talking to lawyers who is a whole different ball game in terms of the level of accuracy they need. So I was saying to you guys who follow me on Facebook, or what do you think in terms of approach? Where would you put the focus? And I was running some of the material that I was planning to share by some of you on Facebook. They did a survey at the end of the whole summit. The summit was, there were 3 or 4 speakers per day. It ran for a week. And then they did a survey of top rated talks. My session on photo reading was in the top 3. And there were a lot of speakers on that summit and topics far more relevant on the face of it to being a lawyer than photo reading. So even when it's put in front of people that don't know very much about it, they kind of see the value of that. So it was really nice actually to get that feedback from the lawyer summit. So that's what we are doing. I think this is one of my, ignore the 20%. Well, actually, no, the 20% is probably relevant because there is a saving here, but that's not this offer. But this, I think, sums up if it was putting into words, because some of you might have seen the post that I put out today, if you're following me in real time, where I had a marketing specialist come to the workshop. I was like, yes, finally, someone with those copywriting skills can put photo reading into words. She basically said, I see your dilemma, how to get people to believe that something so seemingly simple as photo reading could have that kind of effect. So, but this quote for me sums it up really nicely. This is a guy who worked in IT, wrote code, etc. And I remember he walked up to me, handed me the feedback form at the end of the workshop and simply said, the best personal development course I have ever attended, hands down. And he didn't even come for personal development. He came because he was overwhelmed with the amount of data and information that he needs to crunch on a daily basis. So I think for me, that quote sums it up beautifully in terms of what you can expect. This one here, in terms of what we cover, what I say we're going to cover and what we actually do. And actually, oh, how weird. I have not spoken to Erica Brodnock for ages now. We've corresponded online on LinkedIn, but we actually had a Zoom call today. This is her quote. She said, I learned everything I was told I would. Perfect. So if I were a TV advert back in the day, there was an organization called Ron Seal. They used to make sealant, they probably still do, varnish. And their strapline was, it does what it says on the tin. And it basically does what it says on the tin. So when people say it's amazing, transformational, life-changing, game changer, blew my mind, my brain was rewired, I don't recognize myself, those are not necessarily my words. I'm often just quoting what people have said about the workshop. I'd say one of the things people say most often, aside from wow, oh my God, this is amazing, is number 1, I wish I came earlier when you told me about it years ago. Number 2, why didn't you tell me we cover all of this stuff? Because the photo reading doesn't really describe what they're going to do. And they often say, if I knew it was going to be this good, I would have come years ago. But it absolutely delivers on all of those fronts. Now, I was talking earlier about someone saying they felt younger in terms of how it impacts the neurology. So this is from someone who is a woman of a certain age, a lovely author who flew over from Ireland. And she said, you've opened up so many possibilities for me and inspired me to expand my life and knowledge. I don't feel as old as I did when I came. Thank you. So people go away with a renewed zest for life. And I've been saying for the last, I've been an instructor now since March 2002, so just had the 20-year anniversary, which is this offer is all about. But I've been saying since I first really got into photo reading back in the year 2000, end of 2000, really started getting into it in 2001. I've always said it goes way beyond reading. Freaking mind-blowing. And it's one of those things, I could say it, I could show you the videos, I could bore you with the testimonials. You won't get it until you actually come in the room, and then you'll probably say the thing that people always say, oh my God, it was so good, I wish I'd come before. So that's a little bit about it. Oh, actually, and this is the This is a feedback from many years ago now, probably my, I don't know, third or fourth year of being an instructor. This is from the beautiful, amazing, wonderful Lynette Ayers, who from all of the time, pretty much until a few years ago, she, I'd say, besides probably half a dozen or so instructors, Lynette had trained every single photo reading instructor in the world. So if you lived in Japan, she was going to go to Japan. If you're in Australia, she was going to Australia. If you're in Watford, she's coming to Watford. And I every year you have to send in your instructor reports. And I'll be really honest with you, when I used to send in the instructor reports back then, you have to just choose a small selection. I would actually choose, how can I say this? I wouldn't choose the most glowing ones because it almost felt a bit embarrassing. It's like, they're going to think I'm making this stuff up. But even just sending like the slightly downplayed feedback, this is what Lynette said. When I sent my report in 1 year, she said, "Wow, Marilyn, I think you should laminate your report and hang it on your wall, exclamation mark. What incredible comments, exclamation mark. And they don't surprise me one bit." Oh, I've got goosebumps. You are and always have been a totally present instructor. You create such a fantastic environment and have such high energy. How can your participants not learn? And that's from Lynette Ayers, the photo reading master trainer, which is just really lovely. And Lynette was just so amazing. I do hope she's well. I have to check with Paul, actually, see how she is. But she retired a few years ago, but just really, really lovely. And actually, there's a couple of things that if you have attended the photo, actually, that's a good point, actually. If you have attended the photo reading workshop before, and you want to come back and refresh the class, and you're one of my attendees and you've got your course materials, it's £200. So just that's not on the page. I haven't set that up anywhere. So you need to get in touch with me directly. I will then create a coupon code for you. So please feel free, if you want to do that, get in touch. But yeah, this one is about boosting your brain within minutes, because people feel it on that first Friday. And that's where people come up and go, "Oh man, I wish I'd come to this years ago." But they go out. I remember there was one woman who came along on her own, but she had 3 or 4 daughters. And so she came on the Friday night. She said, and then she came back in on the Saturday morning. She says, "Marilyn, I went home a different person." She says, "Normally when I leave my partner with the girls, I come home and I'm stressed out and I'm, have you done this and have you done that? Have you done, and what about this and what about that?" And she's just completely, manic, and she drives everyone mad as well as herself. She said, "I was a completely different person when I went home. I was just so calm and everything was so peaceful, and everything was just in flow," which we spent several hours getting into the flow state, which you learn to do pretty much within 20-30 seconds by the end of the workshop. So when I ran the workshop a couple of months later, because this was pre-COVID, where I was running them every few months, I shared this. I didn't say who. I just said I had a lovely lady come along. She had 3 daughters, and and I explained it. And her daughters were all sat in the front row, and one of them put their hand up. She went, "Are you talking about our mum?" And I laughed, and I went, "Why'd you say that?" She went, "Because she came home and she was so different." But she was so blown away with the workshop that she sent her daughters on the next one, and all of them were there. And there's a wonderful photo of her youngest daughter, who was scared of dogs. And so I said, "Look, when we do the Huna belief change session," because people work on all sorts of stuff, and that's why, again, the Huna goes beyond photo reading, because it has the effect often of changing massive things in people's lives that got nothing to do with photo reading. So I said to her, "Let's do some work." Well, we do a group session. So we do the thing about the dogs. A couple of weeks later, her mum sends me a lovely photograph of her daughter in the park stroking a dog. That's something she had never, ever done before, because she was too afraid. So it's just, seriously, the stories that I get and the things that happen over the years are absolutely amazing. So if you are ready to boost your brain power, to really try and change and transform your life in ways you wouldn't even have thought possible, or if it's just simply you do want to get through more, read faster, assimilate data more easily, remember and recall what you've read, be able to use and apply that information, use the information. If you're a public speaker, you deliver presentations, so you can get more into that place and that space where you don't need to be reading your notes to present. could be as simple as that, or you might want to kind of next level it and start doing the Bradley Cooper limitless style stuff. So whichever end of the scale you're on, it could even be that you're stressed out of your head, and you're completely overwhelmed, and you want a way to deal with that, so that you spend more of your time in the flow state, more of your time with that wonderful, what we call the, here we go. We talk about it a lot, the old left and right brain activation and integration. So if that's kind of what you're looking for as well, in terms of how to use your mind and brain more effectively, how to improve your memory, next level your thinking, your decision-making skills, your critical thinking skills, your creative thinking, really enhancing your intuition, getting better rapport with what we call your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, even your higher self, if you're that way inclined. So whichever it is for you, come join us for the hybrid workshop. So you can be in person in the room, you can be online from home, but it's all happening. So what I will do once I finish this video, I will, now easiest way to access the offer, actually you can do it right now, quite frankly, should have said that earlier, is well, we're building up the suspense as well, but if you go to my main website, transformationstm.com, that's TRANCE, F for Freddy, so FORMATIONS, go to transformationstm.com, click the red What's New button, and a panel will slide out. And the very first thing, because I put it up there a few minutes ago, so if you're watching this in real time, it'll be right at the top. If you're coming into this a bit later, scroll down a bit, but click the red What's New button, the panel will slide out, and then the very top entry, click the link, there'll be a link under the picture, and that will take you to the booking page, and that's where you can get the offer that I've been speaking about here, where you're saving almost £300 off the hybrid online version, not the in-person class, the hybrid online version, which means you can join from anywhere in the world, and you get lifetime access at the moment to the replay recording if you can't make the whole workshop in June. And even if you can, it's a fantastic way to revisit the class as many times as you like. There might be a particular segment that you want to go back to, so it's like having the class over and over and over again. Pay once, access it forever. So go to the Transformations website. If you've got any questions, got any queries, drop me an email. It's Marilyn, Marilyn, at transformationstm.com. Drop me an email, put PhotoReading in the subject line, because I'll probably do a little search for those over the next couple of days, and I'll help you with any questions or queries. But that's about it. If you know anyone who could benefit from attending the PhotoReading workshop, please feel free to send them the link, share this video with them. If they don't mind being tagged, tag them in. That would be absolutely amazing. Also, for those of you who have the new loyalty card app, there are 2 bonus points for those of you attending the PhotoReading workshop. If you're attending in person, I will scan your loyalty card when you arrive. If you're booking online, then I'll go in and manually add those bonus points for you. And when you've got a full card, there's a free coaching session with me, which you can use yourself, or you can gift it to someone else if you don't need the coaching for yourself. And there are also some fun interim bonuses and prizes as we go through, and you kind of get partway through filling your card. So you can either visit the website that's on the screen, or you can open your camera on your phone, works with Android and Apple, scan the QR code, sign up for the digital loyalty card program. It's free of charge to join, and you'll get there's a bonus point immediately when you sign up to get the ball rolling, and there'll be 2 bonus points for purchasing the photo reading workshop. So do be sure to sign up for the digital loyalty card as well. For those of you who are joining me tomorrow for something that's seriously blew my mind, could not believe it. It's just when you see the write-up and you hear people talking about it, it sounds insane. But if you're joining me for the webinar tomorrow or on the 30th of this month, I look forward to seeing you. We go live at 6 p.m. UK time, BST. Really looking forward to that one. So for those of you who are into health and healing, and if you need a chronic pain management, want to lose weight, get rid of cellulite, if you're someone who's a bodybuilder and works out, you want to learn more about kind of shredding and doing it in a healthier, more ecological way. Seriously, this is just like, wow. So I started doing the process myself this week. And the reason we're doing 2 webinars, one tomorrow and one at the end of this month on the 30th, is so that you have time to do the little challenge as well, and then come back on the 30th and report back with your results in terms of what's happened if you've been in pain, what's happened if you're working on improving your flexibility, what's happened if for you it's about weight management, what's been going on if you've got cellulite, whatever it is for you. We want you to come back on the 30th and share those results. So I'll send out a reminder tomorrow for the e-newsletter. Oh, and should have said this earlier as well. What I did just before coming on this, I set up a coupon code for those of you who are on my e-newsletter list. So hang fire until I've sent the e-newsletter out tomorrow if you do want to book the online, because there's an extra 10% off for those of you on my e-newsletter list. Right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope that you are all fit and healthy and well, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.